Welcome to the Empower L podcast. I'm your host, Vero, and I'm so excited to have you join me on this journey of empowerment and growth. This podcast is designed for ambitious, high-achieving women who are ready to break free from overwhelm and step into their power. Together, we'll explore practical strategies, share inspiring stories, and hear from experts who can help you navigate the challenges of balancing ambition and well-being. Whether you're looking to cultivate confidence, transform your mindset, enhance your leadership skills, or find harmony in your life, this is the place for you. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Empower L podcast. I'm so glad that you're here to learn about something that could really shift the way that you lead and live. Today's conversation is all about how to avoid burnout by integrating rest and recovery into your schedule. So take a deep breath and let's dive in. Let's start with something really important. Burnout doesn't happen overnight. It's not one bad day. It's not one busy week. It's the accumulation of constantly pushing, constantly giving, constantly doing, without giving yourself the space to recover. And what I see so often, especially with ambitious women, is that burnout doesn't come from a lack of capability. It comes from a lack of sustainable structure. You are capable, you are driven, you are committed. But if your schedule doesn't support your energy, if your life doesn't include space to recharge, eventually your body and your mind will force you to stop. And here's the thing that most people don't realize. Burnout isn't just being tired. It's emotional exhaustion. It's mental overload. It's feeling disconnected from yourself. It's losing clarity, motivation, and even confidence. It's that feeling of, I can't keep doing this, but I don't know how to stop. And that's exactly why this conversation matters so much. Because the solution isn't to do less of what matters. The solution is to build a way of living and working that supports you. Now, let's talk about why rest is so difficult to integrate, even when you know you need it. Because this isn't just about time, and it's not just about mindset. Many high-achieving women have been conditioned to believe that rest has to be earned, that rest is unproductive, and that rest is something that you do after everything is done. But the reality is that everything is never done. So if rest is always the reward at the end, then you'll never actually get there. And instead, you stay stuck in this cycle of pushing, being exhausted, crashing, and then you just repeat that. And over time, that becomes your normal. So you don't realize that it doesn't have to be. Another reason that rest feels hard is that it forces you to slow down. And when you slow down, you notice things. You notice how tired you are. You notice how disconnected you feel. You notice the pressure that you've been carrying. So instead of facing that, it can feel easier to just keep going. But avoiding rest doesn't eliminate burnout. It accelerates it. So let's redefine something right now. Rest is not laziness. Rest is not falling behind. And it's certainly not a luxury. Rest is a leadership or a business strategy. Because if you want to lead your life, your career, your relationships, your goals, you need energy. And energy doesn't come from doing more. It comes from balancing your output with your recovery. Think about athletes. They don't train at full intensity every single day. They train and then they recover. Because recovery is what allows growth. And you know this about your body and your muscles. But the same, of course the dogs, the same applies to you and your brain. You don't grow from constant effort. You grow from effort and then a recovery. So instead of asking, how can I do more? Start asking, how can I sustain what I'm doing? When we talk about rest, most people think about sleep. And yeah, sleep matters. But burnout doesn't just come from physical exhaustion. So let's talk about 3 types of rest that you actually need. The first is physical rest. This is the most obvious one. It's sleep, it's taking breaks, it's slowing your own body down. But here's the key. Physical rest isn't just about sleeping more. It's about not running your body at maximum capacity all day long. That means taking short breaks during your day, standing up, stretching, stepping away from your screen, not filling every minute with something productive. Even 5 minutes of intentional pause can reset your energy. And that's why I love to use the Pomodoro technique. What it is 25 minutes on and 5 minutes off. So you put a timer for 25 minutes and during that time you focus on one thing only. Once that's done, you put your timer for 5 minutes and you take a break. You get up, you walk around your house. Number 2 is mental rest. And this is the one that most high achievers struggle with. Because even when you stop working, your mind doesn't stop. You're thinking about your to-do list. You're replaying conversations. You're planning your next move. And mental rest means creating space where your brain is not constantly processing. It can look like going for a walk without your phone, journaling to release your thoughts, doing something simple that doesn't require decision making. I love sitting down and doing a puzzle. Mental rest is about giving your brain a break from being on. And number 3 is emotional rest. And this one is powerful. Because emotional rest is about not constantly holding everything together. Not always being the strong one. Not always being the one who shows up perfectly. It's giving yourself permission to feel what you're feeling, to say no when something doesn't align, and to be honest about your capacity. Sometimes burnout isn't about doing too much. It's about caring too much emotionally. And emotional rest creates space for you to reconnect with yourself. So now I want to talk about your schedule. Because this is where everything comes together. Most schedules are built around tasks, around meetings and deadlines and responsibilities. But very few schedules are built around energy. And that's the problem. If your schedule only reflects what needs to get done, but not what you need to stay well, then burnout becomes inevitable. So instead of building your schedule around time, start building it around capacity. Ask yourself, what actually feels sustainable for me? Where do I need space to reset? What supports my energy, not just my productivity? Because a full schedule doesn't mean a successful one. A sustainable schedule does. So let's make this practical. Because I know that you don't just want awareness, you want action. So here are some ways to start integrating rest and recovery into your schedule. The first is to schedule your rest first. Instead of squeezing rest in when you have time, block it in your calendar first. Even if it's 10 minutes in the morning before the world needs you, or a lunch break without work. What a weird concept. Or a walk in the afternoon to give you energy to finish the day. Treat it like a non-negotiable. Because if it's not scheduled, then it's optional. And you know that optional things don't happen when life gets busy. Number 2 is to create transition moments. So one of the biggest drains on your energy is going from one thing to the next without pause. So you go from meeting to task to call to email and you just repeat. Instead, create small transitions. It can be 2 to 5 minutes between activities where you breathe or you stretch or you just step away. This helps your nervous system reset instead of staying in constant stress mode. Now, number 3 is define what is enough for the day. Now, this is powerful. At the start of your day, decide, what does enough look like today? Not everything, not perfection, just enough. And that doesn't mean that that's all you do, but it prevents you from overextending. And it gives you permission to stop. Number 4 is to protect one pocket of true rest. Every day, choose one moment that is fully yours. No productivity, no multitasking, no expectations. It could be your morning coffee or an evening walk or reading for 10 minutes. This is where you reconnect with yourself. And number 5 is to build a weekly reset. At least once a week, create a longer space for recovery. This is not about catching up on everything you didn't do. It's about slowing down, about reflecting, about letting your body and your mind reset. This is how you prevent burnout from building over time. Now, I want to talk about something deeper, because integrating rest isn't just about changing your schedule. It's about changing how you see yourself. If your identity is, I'm the one who always does it all, or I'm the reliable one, or I'm the high performer, then rest can feel like you're not being that person anymore. But here's the shift. You're not becoming less capable by resting. You're becoming more sustainable, more grounded, more intentional, more powerful. Because true leadership is not about how much you carry, it's about how well you can lead yourself. So when you start integrating rest consistently, something shifts. You think more clearly. You feel more present. You make better decisions. You stop reacting and you start choosing. You don't lose your momentum. You actually gain control. And instead of running on empty, you start leading from a place of energy, alignment, and intention. So before we close, I want to leave you with a few questions. And you don't need to answer them right now. Just let them sit with you. Where in your life are you pushing without pausing? What would it look like to support yourself instead of just expecting more from yourself? And what is one small way that you can integrate rest into your day starting today? Because this isn't about doing everything differently overnight. It's about one shift at a time. Burnout is not a sign that you're not strong enough. It's a sign that something needs to change. And that change doesn't come from doing more. It comes from creating space to support the life that you're building. I will say this over and over and over again. You don't have to choose between being successful and being well. You can have both. So I remind you to keep choosing yourself, your vision, and your values. That is real power. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning into the Empower Elle podcast. I hope today's episode inspired you and gave you practical insights to help you navigate your journey as an ambitious, high-achieving woman. Remember, every step you take towards building your confidence and embracing your full potential is a step closer to creating the life you truly desire. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your favorite platform. Your support helps us reach more women who are ready to step into their power and live their best lives. Don't forget to join our community on social media for more resources, tips, and inspiration. Until next time, lead with power and live with wellness. You are unstoppable.